Losing a parent is already one of the hardest things anyone can go through. But for an eldest daughter, it's not just grief, it's responsibility, it's pressure. It's suddenly feeling like the weight of the family is on your shoulders. If you've lost a parent and felt like you couldn't even process it properly because you were too busy making sure everyone else was okay, if you felt like you even had to be the strong one, even when you were breaking inside, if you've ever grieved in silence because there was no space for your pain, this video is for you. Because eldest daughters don't just lose a parent, they lose the one person they were probably still carrying responsibility for. And that grief is something few people truly understand. When a parent passes away, most people expect sadness. They expect pain. But what they don't see is the overwhelming sense of responsibility that can take over. You might have had to step up to take care of the surviving parent. You might have had to manage funeral arrangements, finances, or logistics. You might have had to be the emotional rock for your younger siblings. And in all of this, your grief takes a back seat. Maybe you didn't even get a chance to fully process what happened because you were too busy handling what needed to be done. Or maybe you felt like you had to be strong for everyone else. So you stuffed it down, put on a brave face, and told yourself you'd deal with it later. But here's the thing. Grief doesn't wait. And when you don't have space to process it, it doesn't disappear. It lingers. It can turn into exhaustion, resentment, and even a deep sense of numbness. There is a specific kind of grief that comes with losing a parent as the eldest. It's not just about loss. It's about who you had to become after they were gone. If you were already a caregiver before they passed, it can feel like you lost a role as much as you lost a person. If you had a complicated relationship with them, grief can come with guilt, unfinished conversations, and what ifs. If your parent was the glue of the family, their absence might have made you feel like it's your job to hold everything together now. And here's something that might surprise you. Grief doesn't always look like sadness. It can show up as overworking yourself because slowing down makes you feel pain, feeling emotionally numb or disconnected from others, feeling like you have to be fine even when you're not. So if you've ever felt like your grief was different or heavy in a way that's hard to explain, you're not alone. The role you had in your family before your parent passed away plays a huge role in how you process that loss. Eldest daughters often carry generational expectations that make grieving even harder. You've spent your whole life putting others first. You've always been the caretaker, the problem solver, or the emotional support system for your family. Grief might feel like a luxury you don't have time for. You don't want to be a burden. Maybe you've convinced yourself that your feelings don't matter as much as your surviving parents' pain. Maybe you feel guilty for breaking down when others seem to need you. You're often used to handling things alone. Even in your deepest grief, you might have told yourself, I have to figure this out myself. No one else is going to do it for me. But the truth is, you are allowed to grieve. You don't have to be the strong one all the time. And you don't have to do it alone. So, how do you actually begin to heal when you've spent so much time carrying everyone else? Here are 3 steps to start with. The first step is acknowledging that your grief is real. You don't have to earn the right to grieve. You don't have to compare. Your loss matters, and it's okay to feel everything that comes with it. Number 2, let yourself receive support. Whether it's therapy, hypnotherapy, a trusted friend, or even just journaling, talking about grief is part of releasing it. Number 3, give yourself permission to still live. This one is hard, but honoring your parents' memory doesn't mean staying stuck in that pain forever. You are allowed to heal. You are allowed to move forward. And you are allowed to create a life where grief isn't your only story. If this video spoke to you, if you've been holding on to grief in silence, if you felt or feel like you don't even know where to start processing everything you've been carrying for so long, I want you to know you don't have to do this alone. This is exactly why I do the work I do. In my hypnotherapy sessions, I help eldest daughters process their grief in a way that doesn't just sit in their body, but actually releases emotional weight they've been carrying for years. If you're ready to take that next step, you can book a strategy call with me. The link is in my bio. And if this message resonated with you, drop a blue heart in the comments or share with another eldest sister, or share this with someone who needs to hear it. Your grief is valid and you deserve support.